Okay, quick question. Again, I'm not an atheist or a theist. About to go sleep here. But, does time exist? We see it on, what is time? It's like back in the day, someone had a mountain in their visual field, and to the left of the mountain, somebody said I have to, from when the sun's on the left of the mountain to when the sun's at the right side of the mountain, I have that amount of time to, to be in the fields. So then eventually somebody figured out a way to measure this, like a sundial. I don't know if that was the first clock, but to measure time basically, or measuring shadows or whatever. So basically, like seeing the sun cast shadows and measuring it, giving it a numeric value. This is something that so time doesn't really exist if you think about it. If you were in the village in the middle of South America or North America or Africa or some other place, um, and you were born there and there was no clocks, you just did stuff, some old school type of thinking, then there really wouldn't be what we define as time. It would just be moments of passing, the day, and there wouldn't be, it's 1:30, it's 1:15, it's 2, whatever. So that wouldn't really exist. It doesn't. Why would it exist in that context? You wouldn't need it. You just know that when it started to get dark out, you had to do a chore or something. Um, so then I apply that same thinking to religious or spiritual practice. Some people say it's the advancements in technology that are coming up, and some of the things people note is that kill off the deity, God or something. But then you can always take that and kind of fold it into archetypal stuff, so it's really never going to go anywhere. But the point is this: I mean, you see like the hero archetype, the dying, rising God, Christ, Osiris, the hero archetype, Thor. We have those movies nowadays with Thor and the Hemsworth and all these different things. Those things are very rich with archetypal content that is always going to be relevant, no matter if it goes into space or not. Even space, the hero archetypes, the goddess archetypes, the explorer archetypes, all these things will still go into space. They still do. The Artemis mission, the name of that. But the point is this: is like if somebody said, "Well, God's a made-up concept," humans made it up to help them cope or something like that. Well, if time's a made-up concept, then why do we sit there and see time as having value, helping us define things and set boundaries, and helping us create order within society? That's basically what religion did. It's just you have some people that take, if it was made up, if religion is made up and spiritual practice is made up, that, somebody calling one God legit or another God legit or whatever, we could sit there and say that, if that thing plays a role in society, then how is it a negative thing? So I think it's a very fascinating thing to think about. I think that, what does it say about human evolution, evolution of consciousness, evolution of mind, and really our place in things? How can we sit there and say that, we have people that complain about God, but those people that are complaining about God are using a made-up concept of time to get them to a meeting so that they can debate God being real or not? And that seems a bit contradictory, that they're using a made-up system. They're following a speed limit which was made up to on a road to get to their meeting to debate if God is real or not. Some Dawkins debating Peterson about some God delusion, and Peterson's coming in with his stance on Christianity, his view, his version of that, and they're debating these things. So when you think about that, but then they're following signs to get there. Signs that say go 45 miles an hour in this zone. A made-up speed is it instilling something in their mind to help them maintain a discipline in an area that they share with other people. In essence, that's what religion does. It helps you, or spiritual practice, religion, whatever. There's some that are more liberal, some that are more open, some that aren't. But it helps people kind of instill a certain boundary to get to one place to another within their thinking, their personal psyche, I don't know what you want to call it. And that helps create order within, a larger system, a smaller system, a personal system, a microcosmic system, a macrocosmic system around other people. And that's one of the benefits of it. If that's just purely psychological you can still go to church and be an atheist or a non-theist, and have much benefit. There's actually non-theistic or atheistic pastors in churches, which is kind of interesting. I was reading about this the other day. So in that context, if you view it as a psychological exercise, It, is rich with, psychological material that can be utilized to, get to a certain point at a certain time while following a speed limit, if that makes sense. So it's just a thought, this idea. It's kind of like communions, water baptisms, things like that, that we see in, churches. Those are the speed limits. The things that get somebody's psychology to a point to where they have this other kind of archetypal or metaphorical or symbolic experience, which helps them, on their road to get to a place at a certain time at a certain speed limit to then, have the, whatever they're getting from that ritual, that, water baptism or communion or anything like that. So you put that into context, even if it is a made-up thing, it still plays a role within our personal psychology. You have schools in areas, Catholic schools are very well-to-do, and those areas, very high-end, and you have a strong Catholic presence or a church presence in a community. And that decreases crime and instills morality, ethics, and, people feel like, some of the most prestigious schools in areas are religious, have religious affiliations. So with that said, it's kind of fascinating to think about that that's still playing another role, too, with our educational system. Again, I'm not an atheist or a theist. I know that there's separation of church and state, but it's just an idea that I was thinking about, that people complain so much about, you hear people say God. Some guy at Oxford, I saw this video the other day, is saying God was some delusion. But then, I don't understand, if time plays a role, to get somebody to Oxford so that they can call God a delusion, then clearly, if some homeless person sees this made-up concept, if you think it's made up or not, so relevant, of God, and that concept allows them to get fed and get blankets and be taken care of, and so that they're not sleeping on the street or freezing or dying of starvation or something. So that made-up concept still plays a role in society. If it is made up, it still plays a very crucial, pivotal role within society, and that's helping the less fortunate, which might keep them off the streets from doing drugs or, robbing people to get food or to get blankets and stealing blankets from stores, or all these different types of things. There's this thing that's helping keep humanity, society safe. And you see within certain communities where there's, well-to-do churches, things like that allow those things, you actually have lower crime rates and a greater, a more altruistic kind of outlook, empathetic outlook on life towards people that are less fortunate. So anyway, it's just an idea. If time is this made-up concept we use to instill order within something, then, religion fits that same thing too. And, it's one of those things that's really not going to go anywhere. Because it's kind of like, if some tyrant came along and tried to stomp something out, and you could, prove there is some logical, rational framework that it does still fit something, then it shouldn't be stomped out. So I don't know. It's just a thought, just an idea. I don't want to hate on anyone's idea, but it was just a thought I had earlier, and I wanted to make a video about it anyway.